Hey, what's going on, everybody? I hope you guys are all having a wonderful day as always. A lot of stimulus updates to cover today, so let's just jump right into it. So the leaders of both the Democratic and the Republican parties said that they are close to striking a deal. However, both parties did state to reporters that there are still disagreements, smaller details that still need to be sorted out that are holding up the process. The party leaders are going to go ahead and pass both the stimulus bill and the government funding bill at the same time. If politicians do fail to pass the bill by midnight tonight, or they fail to temporarily extend the government funding, this would mean the government shutdown will occur tonight at midnight. Senator Chuck Schumer says that most of the difficult topics are already behind our backs, and there's only a final few issues that need to be sorted out. We are very close to an agreement, but the details really matter. Congress is still trying to finalize the details in terms of who is going to be receiving the stimulus checks. The four leaders of both the Democratic and Republican parties have been getting together and negotiating on the second stimulus package a lot lately. Both parties have agreed to a second stimulus check of $600 to adults. As of now, we are not too sure whether dependents or people under 18 are going to receive the stimulus check. Senator Mitch McConnell on the Senate floor said that we have made major headway towards hammering out a targeted pandemic relief package that would be able to pass through both chambers. The four congressional leaders continue to sort out the stimulus negotiations. As of right now, we know that the stimulus package is still being negotiated, but it's going to cost around $900 billion. It will include the extension of unemployment benefits for $300 for 16 weeks or until employment. Also, there will be $330 billion for small businesses and vaccine distribution. There also might be money for college students and adult dependents. As of right now, we are uncertain whether or not the children or dependents are going to be receiving a $600 stimulus check. Additionally, people in the SS, SSI, SSDI, along with veterans, will be receiving a second stimulus check of $600. All of the leaders are looking to pass a stimulus package with the $1.4 trillion government spending bill. Although the negotiations are moving in the correct direction, many congressmen are very upset about having a $600 stimulus check only. So let's go ahead and take a look at what Senator Josh Hawley of Missouri had to say.
Last week, I came to this floor on two separate occasions with Senator Sanders to talk about the need for direct assistance to working families in my state, in the state of Missouri, and all across this country. And I said that I was willing to use every tool at my disposal to make sure that this body acted to give direct assistance to working people in need as part of COVID relief. And I said then, and I say it again today, that working people should be first in line for COVID relief, not last. They should be the first consideration, not some afterthought. And I'm pleased to report that we're told today, as negotiations are ongoing about a COVID relief bill, we're told that direct assistance to working people and working families is in the bill.
Okay, so keep in mind, here we can see that he is appreciative of the progress that has been made. However, remember that he was very, very strongly pushing for a $1,200 stimulus check, so it will be interesting to see his thoughts and how he responds to this.
That working people will be getting assistance. And I want to say once again here on this floor, as that package continues to take shape, how important it is that working families be able to count on some relief, and how important it is for this body to prioritize working people over government, over big businesses, over government programs, but to give assistance directly.
So his key point right there was directly giving the money to the people. He doesn't want any uncertainty as seen in the CARES Act with the first stimulus check package. He just wants it directly in the people's bank accounts.
Look, people know how to spend their money and what's best for their own families. The quickest way to help people in need is to give them direct assistance and let them make the choices for their own families, for their own kids. Not to have to wait in line for some program, not to have to talk to some bureaucrat, but to be able to make their own choices direct, with assistance that comes direct to them. That's going to be in this bill, I understand, and I'm sure as heck going to continue to fight to see that it is in the bill and that any relief that's passed by the Senate prioritizes working people with direct relief. Now, some have questioned whether this is really necessary. Some have said, well, it's not an emergency. This bill is only for emergencies, and direct assistance isn't an emergency. To which I say, is it not an emergency that working people are having to line up for food? Literally line up for food in this country, in this day and age, because they don't have enough money to go purchase nutrition for their own children.
So we can definitely see that he is still very tensed and embarrassed about Congress as a whole, given that over the past 9 months, nothing has been passed and promises have been broken. And, he said that he will continue to fight for the American people, so we'll see how that works out. Senator Bernie Sanders previously threatened to block the government funding bill in order to force a vote on his $1,200 stimulus check bill. However, in my last video, I did state that there was a large chance of Senator Bernie Sanders just going ahead and settling in for whatever Nancy Pelosi supported. And we can kind of see this from the video I'm about to play. So let's go ahead and take a look at what Bernie Sanders had to say.
Since June, some 7.8 million Americans have fallen into poverty. Why is it taking so long to help these millions of Americans?
Can you believe it? In the midst of this terrible pandemic, everyone's afraid of getting the virus, and you got 90 million people who are unable to go to the doctor when they get sick. So many of us had fought for adequate funding, and we've met very stiff resistance from Mitch McConnell and the Republican leadership. But what we got now is not enough, but it is something.
So now notice how charged the reporter is. He's just kind of in embarrassment for nothing being passed for over 9 months and negotiated until now, just 1 week before leaving for break. To which Bernie Sanders states he is happy with the progress that is occurring. But keep in mind, just last week he was saying that he would only accept a $1,200 stimulus check and nothing less. So it will be interesting to kind of see how he responds and reacts here.
And I'm just simply happy to say that as we enter the holiday season, when so many people are worried about how they're going to pay their bills, whether they're going to get evicted, whether they're going to feed their kids, at least, among other things, there'll be $600 per adult and $600 per child as well.
So keep in mind, as of now, we are unsure whether dependents or children will be receiving that $600 stimulus check on top of the $600 for the adults.
As well. So it's a start. I want to do better. Well, one of the other things that we're going to get is extended unemployment benefits. As you've indicated, unemployment is very high. A lot of people have no income. It, again, doesn't go as far as I would want, but I think we're talking about a supplement of $300 on top of regular unemployment. I think it's now for 13 weeks. And also, I should point out, Wolf, importantly, that I think President-elect Biden fully understands the nature of the crisis. As soon as his administration is in office, I think we can expect to see a significant step forward in addressing a lot of what was not dealt with in this bill. So this is, in a sense, a down payment. This is not the end of the discussion, but I'm feeling good that we have made some progress at least. A week ago, as you know, nobody was talking about direct payments. We got something in the bill, and I want to thank my progressive friends in the House for their good work on this. We're making some progress.
But you're going to stay in D.C. until this is done. You're not going back to Vermont.
I am not, and I don't think anybody can or should. We cannot go back to our families when so many families in this country are hurting right now.
So just as Chuck Schumer says, Senator Bernie Sanders says that once Biden becomes president, then we can rest assured knowing that another package will be passed to further supplement and help out the struggling Americans. And just as Mitch McConnell says, Senator Bernie Sanders said it would be completely wrong to go ahead and leave for vacation and head back to Vermont before the details are finalized if millions of Americans are struggling. So it does seem that Senator Bernie Sanders is still pushing a little, but is also giving in at the same time. The Republicans are upset that the Democrats are pushing for $90 billion in state and local government funding through FEMA. Essentially, FEMA is the government agency that President Donald Trump used in order to fund his executive order in order to pass the additional unemployment benefits. Senator Majority Leader John Thune told CNN that this is just simply a way of disguising money for state and local government funding. It will have a lot of opposition. Because of these issues, Mitch McConnell says that they may have to vote on the stimulus package after Friday. However, Mitch McConnell says that the Senate is prepared for that and will go into the weekend if needed. President-elect Joe Biden did remind everyone that if a stimulus package does get passed now, it will only be a down payment for a stimulus package that he will pass once he's in office. House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy said that the country needs to reopen and the government is destroying too many small businesses and dreams. Because of Nancy Pelosi, Democrats in the House have rejected helping out small businesses more than 40 times. He goes on to say, how can businesses stay open and support its employees if we don't help them? It has become obvious that Pelosi has been using the stimulus as a political tool to attack her opponents. Now keep in mind, what Kevin McCarthy said does have some truth behind it, because Nancy Pelosi did personally admit that she held up the $1.9 trillion stimulus bill because she didn't want President Donald Trump to look good in the 2020 presidential election. And we can see that here.
What has shifted now when they're on board with this piece that's come out of the Senate?
Perhaps you missed what I said earlier. Joe Biden committed to ending and crushing the virus. What was then before was not more of this. Has simplicity. It's what we've had in our bills. It's for a shorter period of time, but that's okay now because we have a new president.
Dana, did she just admit that she held up trillions of stimulus for hardworking, suffering Americans for politics?
Ultimately, it was the American people, again, who suffered as a result of their actions. Kevin McCarthy says that the best way we can help American people is by helping out our small businesses with direct checks. But he does worry that Nancy Pelosi will hold this up again. He does go on to state that people should not be held hostage and Pelosi should stop playing political games. Senator Mitch McConnell does remain very optimistic and confident that the stimulus bill and the government spending bill will get done sometime by this weekend. On the Senate floor, he stated that we are at the 1 yard line at this point and just need to remove politics from our discussion and negotiation in order to successfully cross the 1 yard line. Senator McConnell went on to say that he was only open to the direct stimulus checks because of President Donald Trump and Steven Mnuchin's urgings. Representative Ocasio-Cortez said that it is time to replace Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schummer, and we need a new leadership in the Democratic Party, saying that Pelosi and Schummer not doing the stimulus deal before the election is the reason for them not to hold leadership positions next year. She then pointed out that they don't attempt to train new members so that they can be prepared in the future. Additionally, these are just a few of her tweets. Cortez remains very, very vocal against Nancy Pelosi and her political agenda and inability to pass a stimulus deal that would help the entire nation. Earlier this week, the Electoral College had cast their votes for Joe Biden as the winner of the 2020 presidential election. Those results will officially be certified by January 6th. Until then, Trump supporters have vowed to fight against the election results by using any possible legal measures. In a news interview, Bob Steinberg stated that there is something bigger going on here that no one is willing to talk about. He states that he is not a conspiracy person, but something is actually wrong, something much greater. Supporters of Trump are even urging him to invoke the Insurrection Act and suspend the December Electoral College vote in order to investigate the claims of voter fraud. The Insurrection Act, essentially what that will do is it allows the president to deploy troops in order to suppress any acts of civil disorder against the state or federal government. The last time this act was even invoked was in 1992 during the Los Angeles riots following the police beatings. President Donald Trump has not commented on any of Senator Bob Steinberg's posts on Facebook, but has vowed to explore any possible legal options before Biden's inauguration on January 20th, which he believes is the last and final date for him to make change. Senator Angus King is asking Netflix, Disney+, Amazon Prime, HBO Max, and Hulu to give their services for free during this time so that way they can prevent the spread of the Rona because more people are staying at home. A recent survey from the U.S. Census Bureau shows that over 84 million Americans are struggling to pay off their bills. And 35% of U.S. adults are just struggling to put food on the table, have medicine, and have enough to pay for their rent. 13 million of the surveyed adults said that they were unsure whether or not they would be able to make their rent or mortgage payments for the next month. Keep in mind, this is very dangerous as the federal eviction ban is protecting renters but will expire on December 31st unless it's extended with the stimulus package. The good news is that the feds have addressed that they will be keeping the interest rates at all-time lows until 2023 to help with the US economy's recovery and rebound. I hope you guys enjoyed the video and learned something new. I thank you all so much for your continued support. Make sure to drop a like down below. It does help me out tremendously. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Turn on those post notifications so that way you're aware of when I do upload my next video. Comment down below, and until next time, peace.